Yes, I have a few comments. Some of them I'm going to say for when we're actually in certain areas like zoning overlay and stuff like that. But um, I don't know. I see that we had a housing summit. I attended that housing summit with Ann, right? And we were broken up into 7 or 9 groups there. I don't know the exact number. I was in the back table, but all but one of those groups got up there and they said that home ownership, not rentals. That's what they continued to talk about was home ownership and not rentals. We're pretty much talking about rentals. I think that we need to step back, take a look at what's needed by this town and what's required for certain people that work in this town, okay, for them to continue to work in this town. And yes, that means shell fishermen, people like that. They're required to live in this town. They don't live in this town. They have 18 months to find a place to live. If not, they lose their grants. That's the end of that story on that. Okay. We need to talk about the issues that have come up with the 40Bs that are being talked about all the time now. If you look all over, they're in the paper, they're on Facebook, they're in private groups. They're talking about that. We need to step back, take a look at the 40B, and see how it's affecting these towns, how it's going to change this town if that's what happens with all of this property that we own over there. Because the words that people use are, oh, abutters, like that's a bad word, or NIMBYs, like it's a bad word. They shouldn't be listened to. We are all abutters. This entire town is going to change the entire character of the entire town if we build 250 units and bring 625 people into this town. You're going to tell me that it's 70% local preference. Let's just look at Lawrence Hill. It wasn't 70% local preference. Okay. There, and I have all the numbers. I'm not going to go through them. All right. I know that 40% of all the people that applied didn't even live on Cape Cod. I also know that the people that needed 1 bedroom didn't get them. I know people that have children in this town that didn't get an apartment that were there because they were put into the general lottery. I'll call it a lottery. All right. We haven't had a proper discussion on short term rental tax. I requested that more than once. I was told that the town doesn't want us to talk about it because that'll impact taxes. Oh, well, you know what? We need to talk about it. I've suggested how we can use that money to help this project along and help affordable and attainable housing. If the taxes need to go up to approve all of that, that's what needs to happen. If this committee's not in favor of using that money that way, they can vote when we discuss it that way. If they are in favor of it, then we go before the select board and we say this is what we want. And they can put it on a town meeting warrant again. Okay? And we can talk about it and get up and tell why it's important that it happens. Okay? Um, the other thing I'll bring up, the only other thing I say is the planning board did send us a letter that you mentioned. They asked since January of 2025, 14 months ago, 13 and a half, that we have meetings with them and we include other people in this town that need to be included in our discussions. The police department, the fire department, the DPW, the zoning board, the planning board, everybody. There's all kinds of things. This has never happened. I brought it up twice and tried to have it talked about. Both times it was shot down. We need to include the people that are going to help and have to be looked at. On the 40B, all right, everybody talks about 40B. We put 46 units up at Lawrence Hill. According to what I could find in the state regulations, for every 8 units you put up, you get a 1-year reprieve from 40B. 16 units, you get a 2-year reprieve. If we put up 46, and that's how it works and works as an overlay, it would give us over 5 years of protection from a 40B and give us time to do what we want to do. They can't just come in and take the land from us. If we don't give it to them, they can't just come in and say, you know what, we're taking this land away from you. Here's your dollar. Give us our 99 years and we're going to build whatever we want there. We need to control this in small zoning parcels and we need to control what goes up on that property. The other thing that the planning board said was that even if we do a zoning overlay, it doesn't matter if they institute a 40B. It won't count towards anything. It'll come before the boards and it's pretty much washed over. All right. And that was said by Jerry Perrin and other members on that board. That's we need to include them so that we don't have me sitting here saying hearsay back and forth so that they can actually say that. All right. They mentioned that they need to put a person
Tim,
with this board.
we distributed the
Uh,
letter.
Excuse me.
I just
I'm
This is
talking
taking a
during
lot of
public.
time, and
Yeah,
you're
and I
covering a
am
lot of
allowed
topics
to.
here.
I'm allowed to, as a board member, speak for more than 3 minutes. You look at every other board that members are on. Sometimes the select board will talk for 15 minutes on their comments. I will not be shut down because I'm bringing up items that people don't want to hear about. Okay? I was almost done. All right. But we need to look at what's going on. The other thing I want to say is Marianne needs to look at stepping up as a voting member of this committee. I hope that she applies to be a voting member. Thank you for your time and your attention to these matters.
Thank you, Tim. Lauren?